Hello, this is Kazuyoshi Hisano. I've started a new podcast program, and I am going to speak about the future habits or the present habits that will going to be help you to make change to your life through creating a shift in your thoughts and your actions. I've been doing a program speaking about the CEO coaching, which I've been doing for a decade in Japan and to some other countries. And through doing the podcast, I really like the idea of sharing the fresh knowledge, experience to you through this podcast program. So therefore, we have decided to shift to create a new program. And particularly, I really believe that life-changing factors are these two things. Number one is goal setting. Number two is creating habits. If you have these things in a combination, they will help your life extremely. And in the past records, I have spoken about what is the future creation and also about the habits. We are thinking that this is going to be the prologue season for the entire program. So it's going to be some kind of just a commercial or a short introduction so that you'll be able to understand what's going to happen and when you enter into the main part. And today, the topic is about thoughts and actions. In the past 30 years, I've learned a lot of things from the people who had been successful and also who had been researching how to become successful or happy. And also I have experienced the concept by myself, and also I have experimented them together, not only by myself, but together with the people around me, and I have experienced a lot of positive things happening. Many people became extremely, very, very successful, and also other people really understood the meaning of our life and how you're going to be able to enjoy that, and also how you can help other people around you. So what is thought? What is action? Eventually we need to change an action to improve the things that's going to happen. But before that, of course, the actions are triggered by the thoughts. So therefore, we need to address our thoughts. So we need to understand what thoughts, idea, notion, those kind of words mean. My background, I don't say academic background, but background for this particularly role that I'm playing in this field, like an executive coach for literally executive or CEOs, or kind of a coach, mental trainer, coach for some top athletes. That's my role, and background is about that role of the kind of background that is supporting the role is cognitive science and cognitive psychology. So we don't have much time to explain what cognitive science or psychology means, so I'm going to be talk about it very shortly, but it's about understanding our brain and the mental process, mind process that's really happening. So what is a trigger, and how brain or other parts of our body are working, and what the outcome will be is the kind of a research and learning understanding point of the cognitive psychology and science. So according to the learning from that, we can see a lot of things happening in a brain. But before that, so without going too much into that kind of academic stuff, I could say that thought is a thing that's generated in a moment. Single moment. And if you accumulate that, it's gonna be your belief. And we could talk about both will be the thoughts and what has an impact to our action, because we're talking about the action eventually. Action is the belief. So the momentarily notion that comes to your mind, and I don't know whether that comes from your side, inside, but coming from outside, actually it's all often, frequently, and mostly comes from the outside, but in any case, you think that that's your idea. So any momentarily notion is just a flash. It happens only in a very short period of time. And therefore, this has an upside and downside. One of the upside is that you can change it immediately because it's a flash moment notion which sparks in your mind. And the downside is that it's going to be also overwritten immediately. So you feel something, you can change it immediately if you use it in a better way. Or I'm talking about the system to change it. Or if you feel something, the notion is there, but you can turn it worse immediately. So it's a thing that happens in a very short moment. So therefore, it could be turned to a better notion, better idea, or a bad idea. That is characteristics number one. What about number two? As I already mentioned, that that notion, that thought will be accumulated over time if you do that, if you encounter that, experience that thoughts many times, frequently. Then you start to believe that it's going to be forming your stronger thoughts, and it could be called belief. And belief will have a strong impact to your actions. The action that will take. Like you will learn if you drink a hot soup, whatever soup that is okay, but if you drink hot soup and you feel that it's too hot, and then next time you try to be careful, but you forget and you drink the soup, and again your tongue will have trouble, and then eventually you learn that anytime when you drink a soup with your spoon, you need to be careful. So we learn from those things, and it's going to be the notion that okay, the soup is dangerous. I don't know, but the soup is dangerous, and it's going to be something like we really have to form a habit that will support you, that you carefully check the temperature of the soup, and then you drink it carefully. And that's going to be a nice process of habits that will keep your mouth and tongue safe, right? So if your notions that will trigger and some action, but if you do it over and over and accumulate, finally it's going to be belief, and your habits will be attached to that, and then your action will be formed so that you're going to be having a comfortable life. Right? This is a simple system. So let's go to the action or activity side. So what is the trigger and what is going to be the direction of the activity that you are doing. This is a little bit controversial and and a little bit difficult part, because we don't know what we are doing actually. We can't observe our behavior from the outside, and we can't definitely say that we are programmed to do work in this way, because we are not the programmer. Somebody may have programmed, but we don't know who that is. And actually, as we are living inside of the world, we don't know how to really understand what's happening in our brain, and as ourself being a human being. But if you imagine that we are an animal, and our ultimate goal is to survive, as I often speak in my Goal Beyond seminar. So our ultimate goal is to survive no matter what happens. Everything you do is actually channeled toward that goal. Like you wake up in the morning, you look for the food, and when you go to when you feel hungry, you go out for food, and when you need to go to the bathroom, you need to go to the bathroom. When you are hurt or you got sick, you'll be quiet and wait for recovery. Everything you do is channeled toward your survival and our survival. So we could say that every action that we take is programmed for us, and it's programmed so that we will work toward survival, work toward our goal. So if we set a goal, and of course survival is a preset goal, but outside of that, if you could set the other goal, and probably our brain is created so that we are channeled to think in that way and take action in that way. So the action is driven by the goal, is our assumption toward the better life. So now let's connect these things with the habits. Habits is actually not incorporated in this process, because our brain is not automatically programmed to create a habit. It's one of the good tools that you can attach to the whole system. And so therefore, if we learn about the habits, and if you learn about how to form a good habit to help you toward your goal, move toward your goal, and also if you could attach that habit in your life, or finally you could embed that in your life, you will feel much more empowered that you can do whatever you want to do. So this is the things that I'm going to cover in the coming weeks, and I really look forward to explaining about that, thinking together with about that, receiving questions about that, so that we could learn about how we can become much more happier. The only kind of interest that I have, strong interest that I have, is that I want to help many people become or feel happier than you are. This is just my nature, and I really think that I want to be a help. So I try to provide much nice information so that you will be able to benefit from this. Thank you for listening, and I appreciate that you are liking the podcast, or kind of registering, so that you'll be able to receive this every week, maybe a week. If you have a question, something that you want to comment, you could write that in the podcast. I don't know, some box will be there, so I would appreciate that. Thank you for listening, and I really look forward to speaking to you again. Bye bye.